All righty. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to day 2 of the virtual marketing workshop. I hope you are starting to have little thoughts about your marketing, how you're kind of using it, how you're showing up, and how you can start to really connect on a deeper level with your audience. One of the big takeaways, I think, yesterday was actually around the importance of your brand and that feeling that you want to generate with people, and how you can really start to make sure that that is trickling through in everything that you're doing and creating and putting online. Today's session is much more about the nitty-gritty. We're going to be looking into actually making sure that you're using your Facebook and your Instagram to the best of your ability. We're going to be looking at hashtags and looking at a bit of a hashtag strategy, and really looking into the back end of these social media accounts. Now, the reason I think this is quite important is because when I understood kind of how things function, it really helps me use them even better. So I share this quite a lot when it comes to mindset work and understanding how the mind works. That enables me to do mindset work. And actually, it's understanding how these platforms work in the back end and how the algorithm works. That has enabled me to create even better connections with my audience and to actually really connect with them on a deeper level and use them to the best of their ability. I know that you're going to be putting time into creating content, so I want it to be able to get as far as it can for you. So that's the intention with today's session. So I'm just going to start by sharing my screen. If it will let me. Hi, Kelly, just trying to share my screen. There we go. So we're going to dive into kind of the nitty-gritty of Facebook first. And I'm going to do it on the laptop because I think it's so much easier to kind of see and explain it through the laptop as we're sort of sharing. So you can see here, this is my business coaching profile. This isn't my personal profile. This is my business profile on Facebook. One of the most important things to mention, and we actually touched on this a little bit yesterday, is utilizing the pinned post option. This is this little section here where it says featured. Now, what you want to think about, and feel free to share any questions if you've got any questions around this. We want to think, if somebody just lands on your profile for the first time, what do they need to see about you, your business, and what you've got going on? So for me, when I think about my pinned posts on Facebook, I think about things I've got coming up. So think about anything that's kind of timely or seasonal, or if you've got spaces available for something. So I think about what I've got coming up, which is why there's a retreat post pinned there, because I've got a retreat next month. I think about things I've got going on at the moment. So obviously my book came out on Monday, so that's a really, really big thing that's been going on at the moment. And then the third one was around, so this is more of a personal story, this one, around mindset work and the fact I didn't actually think I needed mindset work, which really aligns to the book and everything that the book kind of encompasses. So the three that I've got there as my pinned post, one is for the event next month, one is for the book, which is kind of, we're in book promo phase at the moment. And the other really aligns to, firstly, the book, but also to a belief that I hear quite a lot, which is I didn't believe I needed mindset work. And I hear people say time and time again, well, no, I don't need to do mindset work because I only want this goal. I only want to create my business to this level. So what that piece of content is doing is it's enabling me to tell a story. We were speaking a lot about telling stories yesterday and about those crunch points. And it's really enabling me to, sorry, I just had a pop up. It's really enabling me to really think about how I can connect to my audience. I want my audience to feel understood. Remember, that was one of the takeaways from yesterday. So if people are also feeling that they don't need mindset work, this is going to help them kind of connect to that. They're going to feel understood because they'll think, oh yes, me too. So think about things like what you've got coming up this month. If you've got any launches, anything you'd like to promote, if you've got anything such as a certain number of spaces coming up, if you are collaborating with anyone or anything, if you are going to an event, if there's anything kind of over the next sort of month or 6 weeks that you want to promote, do pop that as one of your pinned posts. I would encourage you as well to actually think a little bit about you, your brand ethos, and the brand personality. So again, if somebody landed on your profile for the first time, what do they need to know about you to trust you in order to buy? The pinned posts, I think, because they're such a great option. Remember yesterday we said people are actually quite lazy when they're on social media. It's such a great option to give people this information straight away. So I would actually think about checking in with this sort of every 4-6 weeks and updating it so that it's relevant based on what you've got going on. I actually went onto a Facebook page the other day to try and order something, and their pinned post was about Christmas delivery dates. And I knew that the company was still trading, and I knew that they're genuine, and I know the company, I know the people behind it. And I thought, if I didn't know that and I look at that, would I instantly be like, take my money? Or would I look at that and think, oh, are they still open? I know it was only a couple of months ago now that Christmas happened, but it was suddenly so out of date. And I even saw this with somebody that was saying about their COVID plan for 2020. And that was still a pinned post. And I was like, no, that's so long ago. I know it feels like only yesterday, but it was so long ago. So just make sure that those things are current. This can be like a little check-in that you do once a month. It won't take long, but it can just be something that just keeps your profile looking fresh, keeps it current, and make sure that you're constantly sharing the things and positioning the things that your audience needs to see. The next thing I wanted to share, let me just scroll down and find a post. So this post here, we can see it's got 51 likes, it's got 15 comments and 2 shares. One of the ways that you can start to grow your account is by creating content that a lot of people want to like. This might go against a little bit of what I said yesterday. So yesterday we sort of said that on Instagram, saves and shares are the metric we're going to be looking for. With Facebook, getting people to like or love or just do the little heart emoji like this is a really good way to grow your page, because you can click on that where it says these people have liked your post, 51 people have liked your post. And we can see here that some of them, it says that they have been invited to like it. Some of them are already following the page, but these here where it says invite, they haven't liked my page. So I can click on that and it will send them an invite to like the page. So because they've already engaged with a piece of my content, they'll just get a notification saying, Tara Best has invited you to like Tara Punter Coaching. Would you like to accept? And it's so easy for them to do so. So that's actually quite a good strategy for making sure that the people that are engaging with your content have actually liked your page. Because one of those girls, she's been through so many programs, she's coming to the retreat, she's done so many things, she's a raving fan on Instagram, but obviously didn't recognize that she hadn't liked the Facebook page. And I'm sure she'd like to see more of the things. So that's actually quite a good way to be starting to think about growing your profile. I know this is quite a kind of basic thing as well, but do make sure that you are actually replying to the comments. She says, as you see this one that I haven't replied to. Over the past week, honestly, comments have gone insane with the book. But we want to think about building connections. This applies to Facebook and it applies for Instagram. Reply to the comments, even if it's just a thank you, because actually the algorithm in the back end recognizes this sort of community feel, recognizes this connection, and really starts to kind of build this within the engagement and within the algorithm. So those are a couple of things in terms of like the back end of Facebook. I'm going to stop sharing now because my laptop always wants to have a bit of a meltdown when I share screen. With regards to actually getting more people to actually like your Facebook page, firstly, there is getting people to engage, sharing the sort of content that they're likely to like. So you can click the invite to like the page. The other thing that actually works really, really well on Facebook is sharing to Facebook groups. So many Facebook groups have so many different rules. So I would familiarize yourself with some of the groups and some of the rules that they have. But if they've got an open group where there isn't a certain day that you can promote, start sharing some of your Facebook page posts into a group, especially if they're educational, if they're valuable, if they're letting the audience know that you've got something coming up, or if you're running a free event, or if there's just something that can really, really help. If you've written a blog that can really, really help people, that kind of valuable content that's educational is a really, really key thing to share in Facebook groups. It's going to position you as the expert. The other thing regarding Facebook are competitions. Competitions are a great way to get people engaging, to get them following, and to get them liking the post. So remember, we said when people like the post, you can invite them to like the page. Facebook, however, have got a very strict set of T's and C's when it comes to running competitions. I see so many people saying, like this post, tag 3 friends and share to enter. That is actually against Facebook T's and C's. And I had a client years ago who came to me and said, I've just lost my page that's got 5,000 people on it because I ran a competition and Facebook just pulled the whole page down. So even though you see it, it is not correct and it's not technically allowed. So the way to get around this is, let's say you want people to like and comment and tag people to enter. This is how you get around it. You say, in order to win this prize, number 1, like this post. So then you can get them, you can invite them to like the page. Number 2, comment with whatever you want them to comment with. And then why not tag a friend? So point number 1 and point number 2 are the rules of entry. Do not put point number 3 as tag a friend. Do like a little paragraph and then say, why not tag a friend who'd love to win this? So it isn't a rule of entry, but the way that people will read that, they will read it that it is a rule of entry. They have to tag the friend to be entered into the competition. So just a teeny tiny little language shift there will be the difference between you not getting kicked off of Facebook and getting kicked off of Facebook. And I don't say this to scare you. I would just hate for you to put the work in and get kicked off of Facebook. That would make me want to cry. Another thing to consider, and this might be kind of more relevant, especially I think if you've got products. We do this quite often for one of my clients who's an interior design client. And one of the things that we do when we run competitions for products, we'll say, number 1, like this post. Number 2, visit our website and let us know which product you love. So that works really well if we're giving away something like a £100 voucher. Click on the website, go and look at the products, let us know which product you love. So that's actually going to get us the website traffic. It's going to get them navigating the website. They might see something on there that they actually really, really like. And they're like, oh, actually, that rug's really nice, or that cushion's really nice. That footstool looks really lovely. That throw looks really nice. And it's only X amount. If I don't win, I might buy that. And it has worked so well for website traffic, for sales, and actually for getting people sharing the products that they really like. So it's really good from a product research perspective. And then again, we'll always say, why not tag a friend? You can encourage people to share. You say, why not share this post? But again, it cannot be a rule of entry. Then there is a sentence that you need to put at the bottom that says, this competition is in no way associated with Facebook or its partners. That also covers your back. So you can almost just put it in like the little bit of T's and C's at the bottom of the post and pop that in there. And again, if you're wanting to run something like a competition, do pin that to the top of the post as well. And then when the competition is over, unpin it. Again, reach is a really, really important metric on Facebook and Instagram. This is the metric that actually says how many people have seen your content. So yes, we want to encourage the likes on Facebook so we can invite people to like the page, but always do have a look at the reach. What sort of posts are reaching more people? And have a little play with this as well. Okay, Instagram. I'm just going to open my Instagram so it's easier for me to talk you through. So Instagram, again, you can have 3 pinned posts. So mine on Instagram is a little bit different to mine on Facebook. The ones that I'm using on Instagram are posts that have actually done really, really, really well. One of them, I think, is from last summer. Yeah, July. But it was a post that did really, really, really well from a reach perspective, from a comment perspective and engagement perspective, but also from people actually DMing off the back of it. So I've kept that one pinned there, and that was the one that says truth time, 7 things I was told I shouldn't do, but I did. That generated so many DMs, so many conversations, and so many people actually saying, okay, well, I thought I should, I'm going to put the should in these little quotation marks, I thought I should do this as my brand. I thought I should do this. I thought I shouldn't do that. So it actually generated a huge amount of conversation. So that's why I've actually left that one pinned there. The one with me and my little gorgeous horsey, that was basically, again, telling a story. It was something that was hopefully wanting to like boost people up and make them feel like they've got this, they can do this. Again, it goes back to that feeling that I want to help people feel when they engage with my brand. And then the other one is the work with me for Q1. So those are the programs I've got going on. Those are the things we've got going on. And again, it's so clear, it's so obvious. When somebody lands on my profile, they can go and have a look at that. And actually that continues. Those 3 continue to get engagement time and time again. So think about your 3 pinned posts. Think about know, like, trust, and make sure you've got something in there that is how people can buy from you or what it is you have to offer. You know, if you've got a product-based company, think about maybe your best sellers for January. If you've got a service-based company, what options do you have available for this year, this quarter? What are you booking at the moment? And again, really think about actually what you're getting the inquiries for. So the work with me pinned post, there's quite a wide selection of things there for different price points, different budgets, different things that people want, because that's what I have got going on. But if you're actually, let's say, Sophie, wedding photography, if you're actually just looking into kind of summer 23 and into 24, that work with me post might say, I've got limited spaces for 2023 and I'm booking spaces for 2024, and give them a really clear call to action. DM me to book a call. DM me to find out more. You've got to tell people what to do once you've kind of given them that piece of information. Looking at the profile, so if you have your phone and can open Instagram on your phone, it's probably easiest if I talk you through this on my profile, Tara Punter Coaching, because it'll just make sense what I'm going to say. You can see at the top that it says Tara Punter Coaching, right at the very, very top. You'll then see my profile picture, and just beneath that, it says business coach and mentor. That bit there is searchable. So if somebody searched business coach or business mentor, or even if they search coach or mentor, my profile is more likely to come up. So when you go in to edit your profile, it's the bit at the top that says name. Think about what people are going to search for. If you have that as your business name, I promise you that is a waste of a searchable option. Does that make sense? If there's any questions on that in terms of how we can kind of make sure that it's all clear, do let me know. The username, which is technically your handle, mine is Tara Punter Coaching, that should be your business name. That has clearly got my name in it. So I don't feel the need to put in my bio, hi, I'm Tara, because it says it in the username. However, let's say you had, I'm going to use VL because I think that works really well with the initials, VL artwork. If that was your username, I would suggest having it somewhere in your bio that says what your actual name is. Whereas using the name section in your Instagram profile we want to think, okay, well, what is it that you do? Is it just commissions? Is it artwork commissions? Is that something, Victoria Last Art, there we go. Is that something that somebody's actually going to search for? Commissions. And yeah, perfect. Username Victoria Last Art. We know that you're going to be called Victoria. Perfect. I was trying to think of an example. I actually saw somebody on Instagram the other day. I can't remember if she was an artist or a coach or something. And it said something like DB, I'm going to say artwork. And there was no picture of him or her. There was no explanation of what the D or the B actually meant. And I just felt like when that person followed me, I thought, I don't know who you are. I don't know what your name is. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. And there was just no personality to the social media. So think again about what people need to see to trust you enough to buy, and think about what they want to know about you. Even if it is some like really, really basic things, such as your name. So have a little think about that. So when you go into your Instagram and you click edit profile, you can see name is the first box. That's the searchable piece. So make sure that that is something that your audience are going, yes, Kelly, changing it as we speak. I love it. I'm just going to go and have a look at Victoria Last Art. I know we're connected on Instagram. Not to pick on you or anything.
I'm in the process of changing it right now.
I love that.
I don't know what to put. I'm thinking of what to put.
Do you think artwork commissions would work?
Yeah, that could work. It scared me because it said I can only change it twice in a certain amount of time. So I was like, I've got to get this right.
I think artwork commissions.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do something like animal commissions.
That's the thing. I kind of a bit of a hybrid. I used to do loads of animals and now I do more portraits. So that's why I'm having to have a little think about this.
What I would do then is probably put something like artwork commissions as the name, and then in your bio, this is where we can get a couple of sentences of like really, really, this is what you would do, like hits the nail on the head without people having to think. And then you can say animals and portraits.
Thank you. Perfect.
And we can just make sure that, I mean, people can work that out from just looking at your grid, but honestly, you just need to make it so clear and straightforward for people.
Thank you.
Sophie, yes, I can pick on you as well. Let's have a little look. Perfect. So, Sophie. So Sophie, you've got your name set correctly. So that is the usable, the searchable piece. So that's perfect on your wedding one and on the equine one. So I'm just going to look at your equine photography one, Sophie. So in your bio, you have got Sophie Edmonds Photography in your bio.
Yeah, don't need it.
Nope, because you've got that as your username.
Okay.
Oh, Kelly, pop both of them in the chat and then I'll have a look at both. I'm loving this. So yeah, you've got that Sophie Edmonds Photography as your username, which is your handle on Instagram.
Good.
So that doesn't need to be in your bio. Your name doesn't need to be in your bio because it's clear you've got that as your logo picture and as your username. Got a good call to action there. One thing I would do, Sophie, is I would take out where it says Southwest based, traveling nationally and internationally. I'd take that out. And when you upload your photos on Instagram, start adding some locations. So locations are a really, really good way. If somebody searches by location, it's going to increase your chances of being seen. So I actually do this in a bit of a very sneaky way.
Yeah.
I look to see the countries where people listen to my podcast, and I sometimes tag those locations. So sometimes that's why it says LA, it might say Nashville, it might say Dubai, because I know that I've got podcast listeners in all these places. And my mum's always like, are you in Dubai? No, Karen, I'm not. I'm still in the Cotswolds. Would have told you if I was on holiday, because you'd be looking after my horse.
That's a clever idea, though.
So sneaky. But have a little think about where you are. So a lot of my tags are in the Cotswolds because that's obviously where I live. But I do use other areas where I know I've got an audience, where I know I've got clients, quite a few clients in like West Sussex and North Yorkshire. So sometimes I just pop a little tag there. But again, it's just another really, really easy way of using one of the things in the back end of Instagram to just be seen in different locations and different places. If you have a location specific business, like we've got the farm shop, I tag our farm shops. It's got a listing on Google Maps. So when you have a listing on Google Maps, you can tag the specific location. I also tag our village, which has all of about 20 houses and a pub. It hasn't got anything going on, but people are then going to know that we live in Leighton. I tag Gloucestershire, the county. I tag Tetbury, which is the nearby town. I tag the Cotswolds. Sometimes I tag some other kind of nearby towns. If there's something going on at Badminton Horse Trials, which is 10 minutes away, I'll tag them as the location. So it's just looking at local things you've got going on. And when you've got that event going on nearby, use that location as a tag. So if you've got a big art festival next to you, or if you've got a big horse trials next to you, and that thing's going on and it's literally down the road, tag the location because people are going to be searching for that location. Does that make sense? Right, let's have a little look at Kelly's. Yorkshire Canine Therapy Centre. Oh, we're not even following each other on that one. Gosh, how outrageous. Okay. So just having a look at your bio, I would actually take out where it says an experienced team and either put something like, if you add up all of the years experience that you guys have, say something like 10 plus years experience, or team of however many physios, and just kind of have a little bit of a reword with that. The hashtags, now hashtags are a funny thing, and we're going to talk a lot about hashtags. Hashtags in the bio don't actually work that well anymore. So one kind of suggestion I would have would be, how can we look at your hashtag set? And we're going to go through all of this in today's session, but making sure that those 3 hashtags are in every single post, making sure that if you are posting consistently, they're always there, and then thinking, what else can we put in that bio? Because you've got such a limited amount of space in a bio on Instagram. So is there anything else, do you think, Kelly, that will actually work well in that space? Yes, I'm also loving the dogs on the grid.
I've neglected my socials for probably the last year. Probably one of the struggles that we actually have is location. Okay. If they make sense. So we are on the border of all 4 counties in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
So our address directs people to Goole, and the majority of our clients actually don't come from Goole. They come from Selby.
Okay.
Which is a completely different area. And I think sometimes when people see this address, they would automatically dismiss us because when they don't think that that's immediately in their area.
Yeah.
And it's accessible.
Okay.
So probably something to do with location or accessibility. I don't know.
Do you have a listing on Google Maps?
Yes.
So I would almost just put search Yorkshire Canine Therapy Centre on Google Maps, or just put the postcode. So I think the majority of people use Google Maps, and I think Apple Maps picks up off of Google Maps. So even if somebody was using an iPhone map, it still picks up off of Google Maps. So I would actually direct it that way. With regards to the 4 counties, in each of your Instagram posts, just be alternating the 4 counties all the time.
Okay.
So yeah, alternate the 4 counties, alternate any of the nearby towns, and then every now and again just tag Yorkshire or North Yorkshire or any of the kind of other things like in the vicinity, just so that you can again just keep
Should we alternate those? Because I tend to tag the nearest towns that we service in almost every post. Should I not do that, or?
Do you mean as the location itself?
No, so as a hashtag
so
rather than a location.
Yeah, so with your hashtags, you want a set of about 20 hashtags and you just use the same set all the time. So with that set of 20 hashtags, you've got to think about the location. So I would tag all of those locations. And then what are the things that people are likely to be searching for?
Yeah, I ran a report on this yesterday. It was really good, a free thing online. I was like, this is amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What would people search for online?
Yeah, it's based on my website.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether you'll have heard of it. SEO Optima.
Yeah.
And somebody told me about it. I put my details in and it shows you what you're optimizing for on your website, and actually does that match what people are actually searching for.
Yeah.
So I was just blown away by that.
When you see as well their top 5 phrases or keywords that they search for, you want to make sure that that is in like every single blog you do, every single back end bit of your website page, every single social media post, hashtags, the lot. Those are like your key phrases of your life. So yeah, the SEO optimizer one is really good. I have a WordPress website and it's actually got it in the back end of my website, just in the WordPress stats as well. And I'm sure it has it in, I want to say Shopify and Wix. I'm sure it's got it in the back end of those as well. But yeah, when you know what people are actually searching, that is going to really help you create your content, create blogs, hashtags, the whole lot. So
yeah, it's taught me to think outside of my little bubble that I offer as well, because we were a bit cheeky and we searched some other people's businesses similar to mine.
Yeah, love it.
And they ranked something like number 4 for like 50,000, and there were 50,000 searches for dog walking, which is nothing to do with the business that either of us offer. But dog walkers obviously are more likely to see her page about hydrotherapy, for example. And I was just like, wow, I need to do a blog post on local dog walks.
Yeah. Anything that is related. What about even like a blog post on dog-friendly stays in Yorkshire? Your favorite dog-friendly pubs in Yorkshire? Like I'd be reading and saving that blog if I was going to Yorkshire. I'm not going somewhere without my dog.
Yeah.
And that's such a good way as well, I think, about looking at collaborating with other local businesses. So if you were going to be actually creating that blog and saying, I don't know how we've ended up on blogs, but never mind. If you're going to create that blog and tag 5 local dog walkers, send them a message or tag them on Instagram and say, I've just written this blog. Here are these 5 dog walkers. They'll share it and you can kind of support each other and use each other's audiences to grow. So I'm actually doing this at the farm shop this month. I did a post on social media saying, do you have a B&B or accommodation like in the Tetbury and surrounding areas, or kind of within about a 30-minute radius of our farm shop? And so many people got in touch and they all sent me the link to their Airbnb or to their website. So I'm going to put that in a blog. I'm going to put it on social media and tag them all so that they can all share it. And then I'm going to message them, being a bit sneaky again, and I'm going to say, look at these web stats, you know, we've already had all of these people land on this blog. Thank you for being a part of it. Would it please be okay if I sent you some of our flyers to pop in your B&B? So it's looking at how we can kind of work together. It's going to work together on the website side. It's going to work together on the social side. And then I'm saying, okay, well, how can I now send them some flyers so they can just put them in their B&B? So have a little think actually about how you can kind of collaborate with other people on social media. You know, if you do a post of here are the 5 best dog-friendly pubs in Yorkshire, tag those pubs and they will share it. They will share it. I used to do this when I managed the pub and had to do marketing for that. I was like, yes, I'll share it. Of course, I share it all day long. Thank you for mentioning us. So with regards to hashtags then, you can create one set of hashtags and use it every single day. There are different sized hashtags for different sized audiences that I want to share with you. When I started the Farm Shop account last January, so January last year, we were opening in March. I started the Farm Shop social media accounts in the January to just start generating a bit of buzz and a bit of interest. We had no followers, literally, well, I think 2, me and Sai followed it and then nothing. So because we were such a new account, we had to create, I say we, it was me, I had to create a hashtag set that was using hashtags that have been used quite a few times. By quite a few, I mean less than 100,000 times. When you search for a hashtag, I'm just going to open my Instagram again. So I'm going to search. What should I search? So if I search on Instagram, the hashtag equine photographer, that's been used 593,000 times. That's a lot. Let's say I was going to use that hashtag and I've just set up my account as an equine photographer. Because I have got a small account and a small audience, that hashtag would be a complete waste. The reason it would be a complete waste is because it's been used so many times. It's clearly such a popular hashtag that people just won't see my content. So when you use a hashtag, what happens is it categorizes it. And there's 2 categories in which it kind of categorizes it. The first is recent. So you can click on equine photographer, the hashtag, and you can see that it says top, recent, and reels. Recent is literally the posts that have just used that hashtag. So in the top 6, the most recent 6 have been used in the last 48 minutes. So that's a popular hashtag. So when that hashtag has been used so many times, if you create a post and use that hashtag, it's going to disappear in no time. Because that hashtag has been used so many times, your chances of featuring in the top using that hashtag are really slim. So that's kind of what we want to do with hashtags, because a hashtag enables you to extend the longevity of your piece of content. So let's say you use that hashtag and the post does really, really well, gets some great traction, people keep engaging with it. Do you remember yesterday we said you create the post, the algorithm pushes it out to a few people, more people engage, pushes it out a bit more people engage, pushes it out even further, the hashtag's now working. You want to kind of try and feature in that the top uses of the hashtag. So some of these posts are quite recent, looking in the top. Some were from days ago. Yeah, nice mix actually. But most of them are from a day ago or more. So it's really going to extend the longevity of a piece of content. So if you have got an account that's less than about 1,500 followers, you want to create your set of hashtags using hashtags that have been used less than 100,000 times. So when I created this set of hashtags for the Farm Shop, the hashtags I used, I think there was about 20, have all been used less than 100,000 times. I have used that same hashtag set for 13 months on every single post. Every single post. And we've featured in the top many times. We're constantly kind of in the recents. What happens is you can create viral content through having an epic hashtag set. Some of the posts for the Farm Shop account have been reached by 4,000 or 5,000 people. And I think we've got like 1,300 followers. That's a viral post because it's reached more people than you have as followers. I can then look into the stats, and we'll look into this in a second, to see that actually most of that reach came from the hashtag set itself. So you want to think about a set of hashtags that is including your location if you're a location specific business, but also it's kind of summarizing all of the things that you do. So if you are somebody that, let's say Victoria, you do your artwork and you do both animals and human portraits, have a nice mix in there of canine artwork, equestrian artwork, equine art, and just having a real nice mix, plus then the human portrait side. So what are the sort of things that people would search for on Instagram from the human portrait side, and have a nice little mix with them all together? If you've got an account that's in terms of followers somewhere between like the 1,500 and 5,000 mark, you can use the hashtags that are up to about 250,000. If you're then using hashtags that have been used 2.5 million times, it will do absolutely nothing for your account, nothing at all. And it's a waste of a hashtag. So I want you to create a set that thinks about what your ideal clients are likely to be searching for, that thinks about the thing that you do or are known for. If it's location specific, amazing, include some of those. And just see if there's any that really align to the work that you do. So like I always use the women supporting women, because that's something I'm so passionate about. A lot of the work that I do is kind of around that ethos. It's situations like this where we're bringing amazing women together, and it's such a feel-good hashtag. So I want to be in that hashtag. There's also more specific things like Mindset Coach UK, Biz Coach, business growth. And again, these are the sort of things that people search for and land on my website. Have a little think if there's anything like any sort of campaigns or anything that align. So with the farm shop, we always use Back British Farming, because again, it's something that's so relevant to our brand ethos and the work that we do and the products that we stock. So if that's relevant, make sure that you include that one as well. And then when you've got 5,000 followers plus, you really can use some of the bigger hashtags. So I'll use hashtags now that have been used a couple of million times, but I'm also still being consistent with those such as Mindset Coach UK that I think has not been used a huge amount of times, because that's obviously quite a key part of what I do. So I'm still using some of those smaller ones and often feature in the top for those smaller ones, but then I'm also using the bigger ones as well. So it's got a really, really nice balance now. Does that all make sense? We all just sat on our phones playing. I think we are, aren't we? Searching for the hashtags. Yep. Love the honesty. So the next thing we're going to look at is actually looking at the stats on a post. So I want you to go onto your profile and just open any of your recent posts. And when you open that post, you will see just beneath it on the left-hand side, it says View Insights. So if you click on that, this will then show you the insights of your post. So you've got your 4 little symbols at the top, which is the like, comments, sharing to stories. It used to tell you how many people do that. It doesn't anymore. Bloody Instagram. And then the 4th one is how many people have saved your content. Remember we said yesterday, saves and shares are key for Instagram. So we want to really think about looking at the sort of content that gets saved and shares, and we're going to look at how we can kind of track that in a second. But if you pull the page down or up, you will see it says overview. It then says reach. And in the reach section, it will say accounts that follow you. And then it says non-followers. This is quite key because we want to make sure that your content is getting in front of followers and non-followers. So this is where you can really, really see if your hashtag set is working. If you look a little bit further down, it says impressions. And then in a random order, it will say from home, from hashtags, from profile, from other. From home is that people are following you and have just seen you on the home page. Hashtags, this is what we want to start having a little look at. So when you create your set of hashtags, start posting consistently, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't have to be daily, but if you can post consistently 3 or 5 times a week, use that hashtag set every single time. When you have used that hashtag set, I'd say about 10 times, start having a look at the stats so that you can see if the hashtags are working. That's amazing, Kelly. Half of the impressions, love it. So what I would be interested to know now is actually if you look at, let's say, your past 6 posts, have you used the same hashtag set on each post? And how much does the hashtag set in all of those 6 posts account for the impressions? Where it says from profile, that means that somebody has been on your profile and then they've clicked on your post. So I think that was always quite interesting. So we've got on your profile looking at your grid and clicked on a certain post. So that's quite a good stat to have a little look at as well. And that could be through the search, that could be through the explore page. It could be somebody sent your post to them. So that one gets a little bit lost.
I clearly use different hashtags. I've got some posts where 3/4 of the impressions are from hashtags.
Yeah.
And others where it's about 50-50.
Okay. Which account are you looking on?
I'm looking at my vet physio one.
We're not following each other on that one either.
I'm sorry. I have neglected all of my social media. It's something that I need to rectify.
Perfect. So which post are you looking at that's got a really good percentage of impressions?
So there is a picture of a tripod dog, little whippet, the 4th one.
Yeah. So would you say tripod is something you specialize in?
Yeah.
So that hashtag, the tripod hashtag's been used 32,000 times. So that would be a really, really good one to include, especially if it is something that you've kind of specialized in and got some really, really good case studies and clients around. See, Dogstagram, it's such a great hashtag. It's the sort of thing that you could just spend hours on, but 129 million users. My God, that's insane. That's absolutely crazy. So the top, featuring in the top of the Dogstagram account, it's all
Not
really
me.
current. Mostly Chinese dogs. It's all really, really current content. And it's posts that have got 400 or 500 likes. So the reach, one of them's got 1,900 likes. The reach would be insane. So I probably wouldn't use that hashtag because I think it's just a waste. And we want all of the hashtags to do their job. You just spend so much time looking at all the dogs. I just love dogs. I love them so much. So good. We got some really specific ones. Vet physio, Selby vet physio.
Yeah, no, I come top of that because nobody else uses that hashtag.
Perfect. But actually, if somebody was to search Selby physio, you'd come up. So keep using it. Definitely. Yeah. Perfect. That one looks. What's another post that's done well with the hashtags?
That one didn't. There's a picture of a white. She's not a German Shepherd. What was she?
With the tongue.
With the tongue, yeah.
Perfect. So that's gone. I like all of the vet physio UK, veterinary physio. I like all of the alternatives on that one. So that's probably a good amount of hashtags that's been used in that one. And actually just tapping through quite a few of them, they're all less than 100,000 uses, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have really helped with the reach of that one.
Yes. Sorry, I feel like I'm taking up loads of time on this. I'm going to mute myself and let somebody else jump in.
No, I think this works really, really well in this sort of situation, though. Actually going through and looking at the posts that work really, really well. Victoria says, someone once told me the time of day and the day of week that you post content can impact engagement. Have you found that? We've got to love social media. You know, yesterday we were like, well, last year Instagram said this. This year they're saying this. That used to make more of a difference than it does now. What really matters now is what the content actually is. Because if your content is crap, very politely, it doesn't matter if you post it at the best time of the day because this app says this is the best time of the day. So it's actually about looking at the quality of content and then the quality of the hashtags and making sure that every single post gets shared to your story. So remember, your story watchers are your raving fans. So we're having a little look at the posts. So we can see the hashtags, we can see the reach from non-followers and followers. With regards to story shares, you can only see your story shares and who has shared it if people have currently shared one of your posts. So I can go on to my post from yesterday and it says view story reshares. So I can click on that and it's my account that's shared it. So I can see that I'm the only one that has shared that post. Whereas the other day when my book came out, everyone was suddenly sharing it to their story. So I could click on the 3 little dots to the top right-hand corner of my post, and where it gives you all of this, all of these options. Screen looks filthy there, doesn't it? Where it gives you all of those options, one of them will be view story reshares. So if people have shared your story, it will be there. Make sure that you have got that option switched on in your account. Because I saw something amazing the other day from one of the ladies that came to my workshop, and she's got a gorgeous candle company, and she put this epic quote on and it wouldn't let me share it to my story. And I said, switch it on so that we can. So make sure you've got that switched on. Most accounts have it on as standard. I think you've actually got to physically switch it off to not be able to share. So if you share something, let's say you share a gorgeous picture, or you share a quote, or you share something that's like an inspirational piece, that is something that people are quite likely to share. A lot of people share stuff without actually tagging you. So if you've created a piece of content that is something that you think actually people might share, do click on the top 3 little dots to the top right of your post and just check to see if people have shared it, because they might have found that post in hashtags. They could have found that post in the explore. So what I would do is I'll see that somebody has shared, let's say 6 people shared my post. I can click on each of the people that has shared my post, and I can literally just say, thank you so much for sharing my post. And the amount of times people then come onto my profile, like some other things and follow, whereas they weren't following, they hadn't engaged with anything else, they just seen it in the hashtags or on the Explorer and just thought, oh, I'll just share that. So it's a nice feel-good thing. It's always nice to thank people as well when they share your content. So how can we then see the posts that have been shared, saved, the most? If you go onto your profile, so you're looking at your profile like this, you can see your profile. If you've got your profile set to a business account, just beneath your bio, it will say professional dashboard. If you click on where it says professional dashboard, and at the top there, you've got account insights, and to the right-hand side, it says see all. If you click see all, this then gives you your stats for the past 30 days. You've got a drop-down box at the top there, so you can look at different timeframes. You can set specific timeframes. So if you wanted to go from the 6th of January to the 31st of January, because those were your open days in January, then you can kind of set the parameter there. That's all. Where it says insights and you've got your overview, if you scroll down a little bit, and then down the bottom, it will say posts, stories, reels, videos, and live videos. If it doesn't say all of that, it's because you haven't done all of those things in the past 30 days. So if you're not seeing stories or you're not seeing reels, it doesn't matter. It's just that you haven't done those in the past 30 days. So can everybody see where it says posts? Has everybody done a post in the past 30 days? So where it says posts, on the right-hand side, it will tell you how many and give you a little arrow. If you click on that, it will then bring up your posts and it automatically filters them by reach. So it will say, these are your posts from the last 30 days, and we're looking at them from reach. So you can see the top one has been reached by the most amount of people. If you look to the top of this page where it says posts, last 30 days, and then you've got a little filtering system. If you click on that little filtering box, it will then say down the bottom, sort and filter. And where it says metric, you can click on where it says reach. And then this will give you a whole host of metrics that you can filter by. So if we click on saves, knowing that saves is one of the really, really good metrics to monitor, and then you can click apply. It will then filter this based on the posts that have been saved the most. So again, it's currently showing this for 30 days. You can then say the last year. So if you click on 30 days, you can look at different time frames. So let's go the last 2 years. It will then show you the posts that have been saved the most. So do we have some saves there? Done. Always celebrate the one. So when we look at this, the sort of content that gets saved from me, 43 journaling prompts for everyday situations, how to get 15 pieces of content out of one post, and how to create a vision board, how to handle negative Nancy's, they're all how-tos. So I know that when I'm thinking, right, I want to create some content that people will share to their story, and I want to create some content that will get people saving my posts for later, again, remembering that's going to extend the longevity and lifespan of a post. I know that how-tos work particularly well. People love the how-tos because it's something that they're going to want to keep coming back to. So if it was how to, I don't know, end your month on a high from a sales perspective, that's something that people could come back to every single month, because I might have 10 tips in there of how you can generate extra sales in the last week of the month. So the sort of savable content, it is the tips and it is value, but it's the sort of thing that someone's going to want to keep coming back to, or that they might need at a later date. So what could that look like for your business? The other metric that actually might be relevant, it's less relevant, I'd say, for me, because my call to action is always DM me if you want to book a call, join a program. I very rarely direct people to my website. But the other metric would be actually looking at website taps. So if you have orders going through your website, if the majority of people come through your website before they inquire or before they sign up to you, that would be a really good one to have a little look at. Because again, you can then see the sort of content that encourages people to click on your website. So that's the website link in your bio. Okay, Sophie, great question. Other than availability, what could I do for people to want to save? What about something like, you could do like a spring wedding inspo, a summer wedding inspo, an autumn wedding inspo, and a winter wedding inspo. What about some of the commonly asked questions that people ask when they inquire? So whether it's somebody for an equine photo shoot or somebody that's getting married and is interested in having you do their wedding photography. You could do something like 5 questions to ask your photographer. Let me just get my WhatsApp off. 5 questions to ask your wedding photographer. So think of the sort of questions that you'd have on your website, or if you had an FAQ sheet with all your questions and answers on. Top tips when booking a photographer, top tips on the morning of your photo shoot, top tips with knowing what to wear. It's all of those sorts of things that actually people are going to keep coming back to. If they're on the verge of booking, they might save that so that when they've booked, they'll go back to that piece of content to find out what to wear. Or 5 ways to deal with crappy weather or wind, dealing with horsey photo shoots. Yeah, really start to get into the heads of your ideal clients and think, what are the questions that they would have? So when we got married so many bloody years ago and we booked our wedding photographer, what are the things that we asked? We were wanting to know things like, can we have 2 photographers or is it just 1? How does it work on the day? What do you need from us on the day? Do we get a pre-wedding engagement photo shoot? What do you require on the day? Do you require lunch? So I'm going to give you lunch. Do you require electricity? Do you require power in any way? Do you require certain things? How do you run the day? So just really, really get into the head and then bang all of this in one post so that people will save it, give them that call to action, save this so you've got it when you need it. And then all of those things in that post can all be individual posts as well. So we've had a little look at the different metrics that we can have a look at. So saves, like I said, is such an important one. That is that's what the Instagram algorithm sees as being really quality content. It extends the longevity of your post. People will keep coming back to it, keeps you in people's minds. So that's really, really key. Like I said, reach is also really important because that is such a good metric of, firstly, your piece of content working, but also then your hashtags working. So when you filter by reach, you can actually then see, let's say for the past 3 months, your top 3 reaching posts. What do those things have in common? Was it a certain type of picture? Was it the hashtags that you used? Was it the caption? So what was it specifically that those 3 posts have in common? So we can just start looking at what is really, really working. In terms of actually getting content to work well, your first sentence is key. This is the thing that's going to stop the scroll. You know, the addictive scroll that we all do. It's the first sentence that has to hook somebody in. So what could that first sentence be for you that's going to hook somebody in? It's going to make them stop scrolling and, crucially, click read more so that they then read the rest of the post. So it's like the attention grabbing headline. What you want to do once you've kind of done that attention grabbing headline, that like stop the scroll, read this. Here's 5 things to consider when booking your engagement shoot. And people are like, oh, what are the 5 things? You can then fill out the rest of that post and then give them the call to action at the bottom. But that first sentence is your opportunity to get them to stop scrolling and press read more. I want to know more. So really think about what that first sentence would be for you. Now, one of the questions I get asked a lot is actually looking at your link in bio. This is the website link in your profile. You can only have one of those. So when you paste a URL link into your post, into the caption of your post, it's not clickable. People can't click on it. It doesn't work in Instagram. Works in Facebook, works in others, does not work in Instagram. So what you want to think about is what are the kind of call to actions or what are the website links that you would encourage people to click on? So when I think about my content, the regular things that I would talk about would be podcast, would be applying for a complimentary strategy call, would be different programs I've got going on at the time. It might be if I've been featured in the press, it would be an application form to apply for coaching. And then there would probably be something around my services or packages or something that I've got kind of coming up. That's a lot of different things. So the way that I get around this, I'm just going to paste this into the chat because I've changed mine just while we've got the book launch going on. I have got a page in the back end of my website called links. This has got the main things that I talk about or promote on a regular basis so that I know that I don't have to keep changing the link in my bio. So I can create a post and let's say I'm going to say this week on the podcast, this is what I'm talking about. Link is in my bio. I know that people could click on the link in my profile, my link in bio, and then they could scroll down and say, well, where do I listen to the podcast? Oh, there, down the bottom, listen to my podcast. We know that I talk about mindset a lot. So I've got a couple of the mindset things in there as well. So again, if I know that I'm talking about my three-part training that I did around money mindset and mastering your mindset, again, I can just say link in bio, it's there. Similarly with booking a complimentary strategy call, again, something I talk about quite often, it's just there. So I can change these based on what I've got going on. But what this means is that I don't have to keep changing the link in my bio. So what we want to think about is longevity. If your content does well, and let's say you posted 2 weeks ago, created a piece of content, it was talking about one thing, and you've got a banging set of hashtags, and the thing that it's talking about, you update your link in bio to whatever that link is. 2 weeks have passed, and actually now there's something else you want to put in your link in bio, and it's something completely different. It's something completely different that you want to promote, completely different thing, different clients, whole different thing. So you change the link in your bio, but then this piece of content from 2 weeks ago suddenly starts doing well again, which it completely can, especially when you've got a good set of hashtags, it can suddenly pop up again. If people click on that link in bio and it doesn't align to that piece of content, you kind of lost them. So you've lost whatever it was that you wanted to get out of them or support them with. So that's where this page on my website works really well. The alternative to this is an app called Linktree. However, Linktree doesn't enable you to get the website traffic. This is on my website. So I get the website traffic. So I can see that probably, let's say 300 people a week click on that link in bio. That's 1,200 website visitors a month just from me directing people to different places. I've got my Facebook group on there. Again, that's something that I promote quite often, especially if I'm doing a weekly live. I'll say, just being live over on my Facebook group, link in bio. So it's a really good way of thinking, what are the key places that you want to direct people to? I wouldn't probably have any more than I've got there. There's quite a lot going on there. But again, it just enables you to really think, where do you want to take people? You have got to make it so easy for people. Yes, people could quite easily go onto their podcast platform of their choice and put in my name or put in Tara Talks. But how can we make it even easier for people? It's the same as the selling on social that we spoke about yesterday. How can you make it even easier? As easy as it possibly can be. The next thing to think about, and this is an Instagram specific thing, is your highlights. So your highlights sits just beneath your link in bio, and you can have as many different highlights as you like. But again, this is a really good way for you to think, what do people need to see about you when they land on that profile? So just looking at mine. So obviously the book is now on there. There's work with me. So that's got some nice client stories, case studies, different ways of working with me. There's retreats, the mastermind, top tips in the press, and client results. So again, if people land on my profile, what do I want them to see? I actually did an Instagram story the other day saying, do you look at highlights? And I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's something like 80% of people said yes. Because I was like, do people actually watch them? But they do. This is where thinking about the longevity of your pieces of content really, really works. Because on my top tips highlights, anytime that I do a post that is educational, it's giving tips, it's giving value, it's giving free advice, I can add it to that highlight. So whenever anybody goes on that highlight, even if they go on it in 6 months from now, they can see the content that I put on that is all top tips. So it's really going to extend the longevity of a piece of content. You can have 100 stories per highlight reel. So each highlight reel that I have here, so work with me, that's a highlight reel. Retreats, that's a highlight reel. Mastermind, that's a highlight reel. Each one of those can have 100 stories. So to add stories to your highlights reel, whenever you add a story, you know, when you go to add a story, down the bottom right hand corner, you've got the little blue button that says send, and that will send it to your story. Just above that, it will say add to highlight, and it will enable you to add the story to a highlight. So let's say today I'm going to do a post that's 20 ways to use your blog, and it's a top tip and it's 20 ways, and I know it's going to be savable content. I can add that post to my story and say, if you're one that uses blogs, if you're one that creates blogs, here's 20 ways, or here's 20 pieces of content for your blog. Yes, I'll add that to my story. I'm also going to add it to the highlights reel to extend the longevity. But you can only have 100 stories per highlights reel. It sounds like a lot. It's amazing when you kind of get into this habit, how quickly they get full. All of mine are now full. So I need to go back through and just sort them all out, because there's lots on there from years ago, I think. But again, it's like, what do people need to see about you to trust you enough to buy? Do you have examples of your work, case studies, some of your favorite pieces of work? Think of some of those FAQs again that your customers and clients ask you. What are the commonly asked questions that people come to you with? Would that make a good highlights reel for you? Always make sure that there is one about testimonials, kind words, reviews, feedback, whatever you want to call it. Because again, if somebody's just on the edge of booking you and they see that, it's almost like they seek out the piece of content that's just going to solidify their decision. So that is a must. Please, I'll ask nicely. We've spoken a little bit about call to actions, and we mentioned yesterday that people are in the Insta mindset. When they're on Instagram, they're on Instagram. These social media platforms have been designed in a way that literally is addictive for us. When people are scrolling on Instagram, they're seeing new information. Every time they see new information, it releases dopamine in our brains, which is a feel-good hormone. So this is why scrolling is literally addictive. Okay, so don't beat yourself up if you go down the rabbit hole and it's 6 hours later, you're like, shit, what have I done all day? Don't beat yourself up, but have some awareness and think, right, how can we be better with our time tomorrow? People are in Instagram, they're scrolling. Instagram has been designed in a way to keep them in Instagram. Have you ever clicked a link in bio to go to a different place and Instagram pops up saying, oh, are you sure you want to leave Instagram? This person's trying to take you away. Are you sure you want to go? Like, yes, I know where I'm going. Thank you very much. Follow link, follow link. It's designed to suck us in and keep us there. So how can your call to actions play that to your strengths? So over the course of my week, when I'm creating my content, my call to actions for my coaching profile, one day might say, save this as your handy reminder. And people just save it because I've told them to save it. People like being told what to do. One day might say, share this to spread some positivity or to share some feel good vibes. So that's something that's like relatable. It's something inspirational. It's something that makes people feel good. That works really, really well. Sometimes I'll say, DM me if you would like to book a complimentary call. Sometimes I would say, what's your biggest takeaway? Sometimes I might say, which one relates to you the most? Or which do you love the most? So I'm encouraging people, I'm telling them what I want them to do, so I can encourage them to engage in some way. The point where I would say, which point do you relate to the most? Let's say I'm saying this is a limiting belief, this is a good belief. This is a shoddy mindset, this is an epic mindset. Which relates to you the most? What that's going to do is it's actually going to give me some feedback in terms of what most people are saying they're struggling with. So that's why I would kind of encourage that sort of engagement in that context. So when you're starting to think about creating a bit of a plan for your social, start to just break up and shake up the call to actions. Do include them. People need to know what to do. You need to encourage them to do something, but really think, what is it specifically that you want them to do with this piece of content? Remember, saving is something that they want to keep coming back to. Sharing is like, you feel good, they relate to it. They're like, yes, me too. Think about what sort of content you would share to your story. Is it like a really motivational, inspirational, feel good, like, we got this, like boss babe kind of quote? Is that something that you would share? Would you be more likely to share just a cute picture of a dog? Hands up. Just start to think about what sort of content you'd be likely to share, what sort of content you're likely to save, but then also what that other sort of call to actions would look like for you. Remembering that every single save, share, piece of engagement, like, comment, every single one is epic. So to get you into the right mindset for that, I want you to celebrate every single one. Don't just have 12 likes on your post and be like, oh, well, it's only 12 likes. That's 12 humans. Look at the reach. How many people saw that post? If 100 people saw your post, that's a lot. Imagine having 100 people around your house. Oh, that sounds tiring. So make sure that you're coming at this with the right mindset. You're knowing that people are in Insta mindset when they're on Instagram. People actually use social media platforms, especially Facebook and Instagram, to search for things, to find out information about companies. They're using this as much of a search engine, like as more of a search engine than they do on Google now. So if people are looking for something local, if they're looking for the photographer, if they're looking for gorgeous artists to do some amazing painting or some amazing artwork, they're going to look on social media, which is really interesting when Facebook and Instagram was never designed in that way. Pinterest was designed in that way. Pinterest is a search platform, not a social media platform. But people now just use Facebook and Instagram that way. And then lastly, the sort of content that works well. Instagram and Facebook they're similar in a way, but they're different in a way. For years and years and years, I put exactly the same content on Facebook as I did on Instagram. If I was doing a graphic or an infographic where I've got like a picture with some text on it, if I was doing a carousel, so you know when you've got a post on Instagram, you can swipe through and see slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, that's a carousel. For a very long time, I would put exactly the same on both. Facebook, good old Facebook, then decided that they don't actually like the carousel style content on Facebook. So to give you an example, let's find an example. On the 14th of January, I did a post, this is on Instagram, it says how to create and use a vision board to help you achieve your dreams. And then it's got 9 pictures as a carousel. You can swipe through, you can read all the bits, see a picture of a vision board, you can keep reading, and you can save. That sort of carousel works really, really well on Instagram. So there's a lot of wording in those pictures. But it's a really, excuse me, it's a really engaging way of getting people to keep reading. They're in the Insta mindset, so they're used to using their fingers to navigate things. So carousels work really, really well. This post would not work so well on Facebook. So that was one of my most saved posts of the past 3 months. That post, exactly in that way, would not work so well on Facebook. Facebook wants you to have like one picture and tell the story. So again, if you're really, really wanting to take it all up a notch, think about how people use Instagram. Carousels work really well. Infographics work really, really well. Facebook's just got this it's more of a personal touch. So pictures of you, pictures of animals, pictures of your pets will work even better on Facebook than it would on Instagram. Whereas it is those sorts of infographics, it's the educational pieces, it's the carousels, works really, really, really well on Instagram. As a photographer, Sophie, that's not to say that your gorgeous photographs that you take of your photo shoots. That's not to say they won't work on Instagram, they absolutely will, but just think about how we can start to trickle in some of the carousel style posts. So maybe you could say, here's a little photo dump of January 2023 photo shoots. And you could almost do that at the end of every month so that you're using that carousel feature. People love it. We spoke a little bit as well about running a competition on Facebook. Again, Instagram has very similar rules and T's and C's. Obviously, Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company. Very similar T's and C's as Facebook. One thing that works really, really well with Instagram competitions is asking people to share the post to their story and making sure that while that competition is live, you can click on the 3 little dots at the top right-hand corner of the post. So you can click view story reshares so that you can really see who is sharing that post to their story. Thank them and wish them good luck for the competition. Make sure that they're following you or that you're following them. So you can really make sure that you are using the platform and how it works to the best of its ability. Just sort of thinking about sharing content to stories. Anytime you share somebody's content to your story, always tag them, because then they will get the notification and then they will add that to their story. So let's say I share a post and you like it and you share it to your story. If you were to tag me, I'll get the notification. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'll add that to my story. So then again, it's actually looking at how you can then be seen in front of my audience. So think about how that can align for you so that you can get your profile in front of new audiences. Yes, Sophie, definitely makes sense. I'd love to share some quotes or inspirational bits too. It's just making them relevant. So when it comes to making them relevant, bring it back to how you want people to feel. So how do you want somebody to feel when they've had the photo shoot with you? How do you want somebody to feel when they receive their beautiful print or when they come for the viewing session? How do you want people to feel when they look at your grid? And then just think about the quote or the inspirational piece that aligns to that feeling. That's the only amount of relevance that you need, is the feeling. Because if the feeling is over here for one thing, then the feeling's over here for something else, it's just a bit disjointed. So just make sure that you've got that kind of relevance piece. Oh, that was a lot of stats and a lot of data and a lot of looking at Instagram. What sort of questions do we have? I know there's a lot that I've just thrown at you, and I think it's something that's just got to start kind of making the little adjustments, start to be having a little look at the stats, testing different types of content and testing the hashtags. But lots of things, I think, to kind of foundationally build on. So what sort of questions do we have? Feel free to unmute yourselves. We all just statistics out.
Just baffled, Tara.
I don't want it to be overwhelming or anything, but I think there's just so many little things that can make such a big difference.
It's just trying to make it consistent, and it's trying to create content that's different without being the same thing. So for me, it's so easy just to post photo after photo after photo, and that's fairly easy for me to do. It's just finding things to put with it and like the wording that is actually interesting to people, because I just go to social media and I literally go completely blank and I'm like, I just don't know what to write.
Yeah. Do you want to say something, Kelly?
Yeah, Sophie, do you post like outtakes, funny things that happen on your...
I don't, because generally it's normally the human that's making faces and stuff. But it would be a good one to do as like a reel or something, maybe, if I can find old photos, because generally I just take them out of the set of images and then I never see them again, so I don't even edit them. But maybe if I started editing them and put them in like a little folder of their own, it might be quite funny.
And my photographer did that, and I really liked her honesty about how difficult it is sometimes to get that perfect shot. And that was one of the reasons we went with her, because she did post about those things, and she did post about her love for animals. That for me needed to be really clear. For our wedding, it had to be somebody who was really just at ease with dogs. And if she said to me, I'm only interested in your dogs and I have loads of pictures in your dogs, I was like, you are the person for us. Like, I know you'll get good wedding photos, but the stuff that she posted with the dogs and how she worked with them, and bloopers from couples as well, kind of trying to get the perfect shot, it really made me want to book with her, because she was very honest and very real.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, thank you.
It's okay.
Love that. It's so interesting, isn't it? Like thinking what you looked for, but when you booked your wedding photographer, so interesting, because I think we almost just forget that. But what would be the things that people look for? And I love the idea of the bloopers, because also, Sophie, again, think about the feeling that you want people to feel. So when they're having the photo shoot with you, do you want them to feel uptight and anxious and stressed and worried, or do you want them to feel at ease?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
how do you make them feel at ease?
By showing them what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you properly do like the Insta versus reality as well.
Oh, 1,000%.
So many pictures. And if you've got any of like your own horse, and you've taken, even if it's something like that you've taken on your phone, just say, this I took on my phone of my horse. This is the Insta versus reality. As your photographer, I know the sort of photos you want. We'll take lots of photos so that we will get the best photos for you. So you aren't left with the reality picture, but you can have the Insta photo.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, definitely.
I think in terms of the caption to put with the pictures, have a little brainstorm around, firstly, I think the sort of things that people need to see. So I'd have something about you and your story, your background, your passion, your knowledge, your experience, your expertise. I'd have something around clients. So whether it's a commonly asked question, whether it's a case study or a testimonial, I'd have something that is actually just a gorgeous picture that maybe shows the behind the scenes. It's finding the location for the photo shoot, if it's some of the editing process. I would have a little something as well about what to expect on the day. So again, that might alter whether it's a winter photo shoot, a summer photo shoot. It might alter whether it's a dog shoot or a horse shoot, whether it's a wedding shoot. So again, it's really, really getting into the minds of your ideal clients, creating that content so they see it and they're like, I thought that. I had that thought earlier and I did wonder how it worked. So that you're almost just completely putting them at ease.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I've written a load of them down, so that's my mission.
Perfect. It's the 1st of Feb. It's a great day to start some February goals as we need to go on. To think about, seriously, how consistently can you post? Consistency is key. Even if you're posting 3 or 5 times a week, that is still consistent. What I absolutely don't want you to do is say, right, I feel inspired, let's post every single day. And you know that that's just so challenging to commit to and stick to.
Yeah.
It's really easy to be like, yes, we're going to post daily. And next week you're like, that's gone crazy and I haven't posted all week. You're just playing like yo-yo with the algorithm. Like,
you know me too well.
So what would consistently look like for you?
I think I could consistently do 3 days a week. I think that's achievable. I would love to be the person that posts every day of the week. It just doesn't ever happen. Like I'll do it for like 2 weeks and then it all goes to shit because it gets busy.
Yeah, I know. That's so common. So common. So if we're aiming for 3 times a week, then ladies, we're all listening. So if you said 3 times a week, so we're going to hold her accountable, going to check in, and then just start to see at the end of this month, have a little look at the stats. Your stats will go up if you're being consistent. The inquiries really should go up if you're being consistent. And then you'll start to see like the benefits of doing it. So I'm sure I said yesterday, last year, my focus for at least the first, I'd say 6-7 months was on the farm shop. So yes, I was still had my programs running, I was still doing all the things, hosting retreats, but my focus wasn't on my coaching social media. And then when it came to launching something, I would just suddenly put this thing out there and just assume that everybody remembered who I was, knew what I was about, knew what I was passionate about. And I kind of recognized that actually you still got to keep being consistent, even if you've been in business years and years and years. So my focus now is posting daily for my coaching account. So I know it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Honestly, I did it all throughout January. And there were days that it was like the end of the day, I was like, oh my God, I've run out of words. I have nothing to say. And I was like, no, I've told myself I'm going to do it. Held myself accountable. I thought I'll just put a nice quote on or something just to get into that habit. So there has got to be an element of self-discipline and holding yourself. But honestly, it has worked wonders doing it. Now
Okay, listen to do it.
So set the goal for the 3 times a week. Have the discipline and accountability to hold yourself accountable. Get it in your planner or your diary or however you plan your day so that you can keep seeing it and keep checking in with that as a goal. And then at the end of the month, really start to be proud of yourself, firstly, and recognize, okay, well, we've had this growth. The account has grown by 50 people. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. The inquiries. Oh, we had a couple more inquiries. Amazing. So you can kind of really recognize the kind of growth and achievements there.
Yeah, and then you can see that you're actually achieving something by doing it. Whereas I'm all right on stories. I'm just too much of a perfectionist when it comes to my grid. And I'll almost like overthink it to the point where I won't do it because I'm overthinking about how these images are going to go together. It's so ridiculous.
Will not posting get you an inquiry, Sophie?
No, it won't. I'm well aware of that.
And actually, I think we can kind of look at the grid in a certain way, but every single person will see your grid in a completely different way anyway. And actually, a lot of people wouldn't even see your grid as a whole. They'll see your posts in the search, in the Explorer, or on the homepage.
Yeah, I've just got to get that into my head because it's what puts me off doing it. Because I'm like, oh, but that image doesn't go quite as well next to that image. And I'm like, oh my God, no, stop.
Just post it, woman.
Post it, stop overthinking it.
Yes. Stop overthinking everything. Just start showing up. Honestly, just start showing up.
Okay, right, that's my mission.
Back, I think it was like 18 months ago, like I said yesterday, someone was doing my social media and I had to sit down and write it all out and it took so long and I sent it off to her. And by the time it came out, I had lost the love for that piece of content. It wasn't feeling so relevant and current. Whereas when I just post daily, it's just like, okay, whatever's on my mind, I'm just going to put it out there. I don't overthink it. I'm just like, this idea's come in, let's do it. It makes such a difference in terms of the reach because it just feels so organic and current.
Yeah.
Have a little think about that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have any other questions, lovely ladies? No? But if there are any other questions, feel free to drop me a message on the socials. And I really look forward to seeing you start to implement these things, make the little changes to your bio and create that hashtag set. And do celebrate with me whenever you start to see these areas of growth or just these little teeny tiny tweaks doing their thing. Do please celebrate it with me. I love to celebrate those things, no matter how minor they might seem. I'm always like, celebrate it and share it with me, please. And like I said, if there's any questions at all, do just let me know. Rebecca will be sending you the replays for these as well. So you've always got them if you need to dip back in. But you've got this, and I believe in you, and have some fun with it and trust yourself to share your knowledge and experience and expertise and magic that you create, and just start showing up even more and putting it out there and doing all the little things. And yeah, starting to recognize, I think, the growth, the inquiries, the feedback, the time somebody says, oh, I saw you on Facebook, and you're like, oh, thank you. Recognize and celebrate all of those things. And like I said, if you have any questions at all, please do reach out, drop me a message, and I will speak to you all very soon, I'm sure. Have an amazing day, ladies, and I'll speak to you really soon.
Thank you.
Bye.